Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are here today to address the tragic accident of Eclipse Airways Flight 360, a Boeing 737-800, which crashed en route from Dallas to Boston on the night of May 4th. This flight carried 191 souls, each with their own story. All passengers on board survived with 35 reported injuries. This hearing is convened to rigorously examine the circumstances surrounding this accident to determine the probable cause, and to formulate actionable recommendations to prevent similar tragedies in the future. The ultimate goal of our investigation is to learn from this tragedy so that we can prevent it from happening again to others, and to investigate this hearing is, tool. The Rtsb may use to help complete the investigation. This hearing is to be held for the purpose of supplementing the facts, circumstances, and conditions surrounding this accident. This process will assist the Rtsb in determining the probable cause of the accident and issuing safety recommendations to prevent similar accidents in the future when the final report is presented to the board hearing. Also, to provide the opportunity to the public, for commercial airline industry, for others to see a portion of our investigate process. During the hearing, we'll examine the witnesses and secure a form of public record facts pertaining to the accident and surrounding circumstances. The purpose of this inquiry is not to determine the rights or liability of private parties, and matters dealing with such rights or liability will be excluded from these proceedings. I want to emphasize that this hearing is non-adversable. It is a fact-finding examination. In addition, we will not attempt during this hearing to analyze the testimony received, nor any attempt to to determine the probable cause of the accident. Such analysis and cause determination will be made at a later date by the full board. After consideration of all the relevant evidence gathered during investigation, the final report of the accident reflecting the board's analysis and probable cause determination will be available to the public, as are all of our investigative products. Today's hearing will concentrate on the following issues: the aircraft, the Boeing 737-800, and the issues that the pilot had faced while on approach to Boston International Airport. Our investigation has uncovered a complex interplay of factors that culminated this devastating outcome. The flight encountered low visibility conditions as it approached Boston International Airport. Analysis of cockpit voice recorder reveals a palpable increase in the pilot's anxiety as the weather deteriorated. Discussions with the air traffic control indicate that the crew considered diverting to an alternate airport, but ultimately decided to proceed with the approach. Evidence strongly suggests that the aircraft entered a stall at a dangerously low altitude while attempting to establish visual contact with the runway. The pilots were likely operating under immense pressure to land, given the weather and potential consequences of a missed approach. Furthermore, data retrieved from the flight data recorder indicates a possible lag in the aircraft's response to controls input during the final moments of the flight. This is not an isolated incident. We have discovered previous reports of similar issues with this particular airframe issues that had been reported but not adequately addressed by Eclipse Airways maintenance department. The combination of the pilot's impaired visibility, the low altitude stall, and the potential mechanical malfunction created a perfect storm of circumstances which made recovery slim, to say the least. Let's discuss the sequence of events by breaking them down according from eyewitness reports. During departure, the flight experienced technical issues during takeoff from Dallas Love Field, if I'm correct. The crew performed a series of checks and managed to resolve the issue before continuing the ascent. The aircraft departed on time according to initial reports. When it was en route, approximately a few minutes into the flight while cruising at 34,000 feet, the crew reported a lag in the aircraft's control response. This issue made it challenging for both pilots to maintain the flight path, and they communicated with air traffic control and the Eclipse Airways technical center to request assistance in troubleshooting the problem. And on approach, as the flight approached Boston, it encountered adverse weather conditions, including moderate turbulence and heavy rain. The aircraft experienced a stall when it was on approach towards Boston. Despite the crew's efforts to recover, the aircraft impacted terrain, and unfortunately the pilots were unable to see the terrain. Alright. Sorry, let me head to the next page here. The wreckage was examined on site by the Rtsb. The aircraft was damaged severely, and the debris field spanned over or nearly half a mile. Both the flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder were recovered and sent to the Rtsb laboratory for analysis. The examination revealed the extensive damage to the aircraft's control surfaces, and systems. Our flight data recorder analysis revealed the following: 1. A brief anomaly. 2. A gradual increase in the control lag during the cruise phase, with noticeable deviations from the intended flight path. 3. Erratic control inputs during the approach phase, indicating that the pilot struggled to maintain control of the aircraft, if that's correct. 4. A sharp decrease in airspeed prior to the stall, with the aircraft speed dropping below the minimum safe level. Let me turn to the next page here. Just a second, folks. Okay. The cockpit voice recorder captured the following. 1. Was that the crew were discussing the technical issue during takeoff, including their efforts to troubleshoot the problem and resolving the issue. 2. That the pilots were expressing concern over the control lag during cruise, as well as their attempts to communicate with the air traffic control for assistance, as well as the Eclipse Airways Technical Center. 3. The crew struggling to maintain control of the aircraft during the approach, with increasing levels of stress and urgency in their voices. Possibly. 4. The stall warning sounding moments before during the approach, which put more pressure on the pilots, basically. I will now turn the hearing to Captain Japan. In a few moments here. And then I will be going over the conclusions right after. Give us a moment here, folks. We have a technical issues ourselves. Well, as we wait for the captain's response, I will be going over the conclusion that we have gathered here. In conclusion, the probable cause of the Eclipse Airways Flight 360 accident was the pilot's loss of situational awareness due to poor visibility, exacerbated by a low altitude stall, possibly a low altitude stall, and and extreme lag in the aircraft's control response. Contributing factors include inadequate maintenance procedures by Eclipse Airways, which failed to address the known issues with the aircraft's control system. We must take decisive action to rectify these shortcomings and ensure the safety and security of air travel for all. This includes a thorough review of pilot training procedures, stricter enforcement of maintenance regulations, and improved communication between pilots, air traffic control, and airline management. Only through such comprehensive measures can we hope to go through to prevent similar tragedies in the future.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
I will now turn the questions over to Captain Japan here. So,
sorry, I dropped my chocolate milk. Sorry.
So,
You fat bastard.
what were your duties during the flight?
Flying the plane. Make sure it flies.
Could you describe the weather conditions at the time of the accident? And visibility conditions?
Um. It was clear. Yeah, clear. There was a slight fog. Yeah.
Looks like somebody lost their toy out there. What was your are you familiar with the route basically?
No. That was my first time flying that route.
Were you given any training or test flights by the airline to operate that route?
No.
You're dead, Luigi.
Okay. And could you describe the emergency procedures that you followed afterwards?
There wasn't really any procedures. We stalled and crashed, and yeah.
Thank you very much for answering these questions. Could you tell? I have one more question.
Okay.
How bad was the lag?
So laggy that it could make my grandma's 1998 Windows completely seem better than this.
I apologize. in, in conclusion, right, the probable cause of Eclipse Airways Flight 360's accident was possible low altitude stall and a potential lag in the aircraft's control response, which failed to address known issues to the aircraft's control system. We will, on behalf of the Rtsb. I was about to say the NTSB. Please don't sue me. Um, we apologize for all the every passenger that was involved, especially the crew members.
They're dead.
The-
They're dead.
They told
I
me.
saw Needy's arm fly by my camera the second we crashed. It flew by like a piece of shrapnel from a grenade. Ah! I also saw I also saw System's head and glasses just fly everywhere. None of them are alive.
Where's my burrito?
Bro,
My
Bluetooth
co-pilot,
Bluetooth
his
device
other
is ready
half
to
of his
pair.
body was hanging from the roof of the plane like a fucking silly string.
according to the according to the
I object.
according to the airline,
I don't remember that happening.
according to the airline,
I object. I'm just playing. I
sir,
don't
this
object.
is not
I
a
object
court.
your
Sir,
objection.
this is not
The
a courtroom.
The fly-by-wire in the plane wasn't working right. Oh wait,
The
Yeah, that has
737 does not have that system.
yes it does. I can prove it. Look.
Yeah, so
Where's my burrito?
at least that we know that from eyewitness reports, at least we know that most of the information here was true. We will have to interview privately with Eclipse Airways' CEO about this issue, and also review the clip. Yes, this was recorded.
By who?
Me.
What?
You see
weren't
that?
even on there.
You see this camera?
What camera?
This camera right here.
Anyway, so let me grab that camera now.
Sir, I have a camera right here too. Whoa!
Where is it?
Sir, sir. I kinda don't want to. Never. Oh, can we get a medic? Can we get a medic? Cut the camera! Cut the camera! Cut the camera! Cut the